Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we got the middle class worst dancer battle to watch. It is between Waackxxxy Yoonji and Kyma and Cheche from Bebe. And I know this is about to be buck wild. I know this is gonna be so good. I even know what they're wearing. It could be the same outfit that they wore for Fusion, right? The battle that they did against the twins, which a lot of you guys are recommending to me, but we'll get into that at the end of the video if you want to check that part of this thing out. But yeah, enough of me talking. We're gonna get into this and watch it.
Are you guys ready? Fight!
Oh. Oh my god, that was so good! Oh my gosh! Honestly, if Waackxxxy did that, that would have lost my mind. That was so good. Here we go. Come on. Alright, here we go. Okay, I know they're waiting on choreo for that. Okay. That was a nice combination there. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look here. Guys, I already know Waackxxxy and Yoonji. That was so disgusting. Okay. Let me make this note though. I don't have to watch the Fusion battle to know that what they did here was different than what they did there. Here's why. Even though they're wearing the same outfit, I really think, I'm going to take that educated guess based on the thumbnail that I was seeing from that battle. It looks like a very similar outfit. When it comes to battles like that, because that's like a world level battle you're dealing with, they don't get songs like this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't get like a song that they know like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get to pick, kind of low-key pick their songs with the DJ here. Do you know what I'm saying? But there, you don't. And that's what makes part of the choreographic side whenever you see a 2v2 in battles, like real world level battles, and you see a 2v2 and then you see them do choreo together. It's not because they rehearsed it to the song. What they did is they practiced that sequence to different song styles, as well as different songs that could possibly exist with similar timbres and backbeats and tonal colors. And that's how they learn to have this sense of essence with each other, and that sense of familiarity of hitting similar pockets and similar parts of their music. That's why Waackxxxy and Yoonji come across the way that they do, and that's why Jam Republic, whenever they did their 2v2, they were vibing really well, because they are ingrained within that cultural groove set, and how they hit their music is so similar. That's why they were able to ride the rhythm so quickly together, and that's what we're seeing here with Yoonji and with Waackxxxy. So I just wanted to kind of put that little disclaimer out too. No, I have not seen Fusion. I would love to see it, but once again, I'll talk about it at the end of the video. They really popped off, and also there's a certain level of expectation that, just like what Jam Republic has had throughout the show and the choreography challenges, whenever you see Waxxxy and Yoonji go together in a 2v2, there's a natural high level of expectation that comes with that as well. Now, are some expectations unnecessary and kind of not respectful to the scope of the show? Personally, no. You know, I wish that, you know, in some aspect, like with the Mega Cruise with Jam, I wish that we didn't have such high expectations, because a lot of people are like, oh, that wasn't their best. Well, also because of the circumstances, and you got to think about the show that it is. It's not like a choreographic world level competition we're talking. You know what I'm saying? Where they have these months to prepare. And now Royal Family does have quick turnaround time when it comes to changing up their set. So that's not what I'm talking about. But my point is that, yeah, they're familiar with turnaround times. They're familiar with professionalism, but also they had an uphill battle the whole time because of the circumstances of the show. Do you know what I'm saying? And the scheduling and all of that. Now, going back here to Waxxxy and Yoonji, you do have that expectation of they are world-class battlers together and separate. So seeing them here, and they're wearing something that they wore in an actual competition, you have a natural expectation of what you're about to watch. Now, is there a really high chance that maybe a sequence that they did at the beginning was similar to what they may have done before? Yeah, but will I be surprised if that is the case here? I will be, unless they wore their outfits and they're doing their opening sequence paying tribute to what they've brought to the table in years past. That would be my assumption of why they would choose to go to and recycle, or not plagiarize themselves, if that makes sense, like bite themselves on that. It would be just to pay tribute to their own battle record. You know what I mean? That's my one little note here, you know. Did you see that? They're about to pop off. Now, I've seen this transition before. Now, is the sequence the same? Like, is this the exact same sequence we've seen? I don't know. Remember, I haven't seen Fusion, or some of their other world battles, but I have seen them do certain things. So, but notice that they are taking really small steps on her knees and on her feet. Those little details do matter, and I have seen that before. I will say that. Yeah, so this is really, really fun to see, and they're talking about down, and she's about to thread her through, and then she goes, and she does a little hop through, spin, 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 and then she ends up spinning. So their wordplay is really nice here, and I love the small little runs that Waxxxy does here, and they're hitting that la la la. So they are hitting the words themselves. Sometimes they're hitting how the tone is, and sometimes they're hitting the da da da, you know. So. And I love that she hits her hip. It's the hit that clap, 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 clap on the back. And also she is still threaded right here. So that is mad impressive to note too, that she has a really good fixed point from the shoulders. We've done on a fixed pointed, mimes do it. It's whenever you have a point of your hand or some facet of your body and it is still and everything else moves around. It's called a fixed point because it's fixed in place. So she has to take her arm and it has to be a fixed point to some extent in order for it to maintain its thread with Waxxxy. For her to do everything, it's very impressive and it shows her training, you know, what she's practicing. Like, look, she's totally going full range on this left leg as well as her right arm. But it was really interesting choice that she chose to choose the left leg over the right. And that is because whenever you do, let me see, I'm trying to think. When you choose to do opposite, when you're doing the opposite leg, it's honestly, I mean, she's using the opposite leg to balance, and it's easier because you have a counterbalance happening with the opposite leg. It's easier to be more mobile with the leg closest to the fixed point. Just in this case, because you have to know she wants to try to help cater or figure out ways to make it as still as possible to maintain that visual on that side while doing polyrhythmic elements on the other side. So they're thinking through this. That was sick when she kicked it and she's like, look what's happening. Look what you made us do, you know? Oh. And then, but just seeing her pop off, like their ticking is insane. I love that Yoonji's just like, just watch, you know? Like it's... She's like, are you taking notes? And that's what they said in the beginning. Are you taking notes? Oh, man. She just went, bah! Oh, that's so good. I love that when she dropped. I already made the note of that. goodness, because the song, you can do some Vogue elements to it as well, because of but how they have that crash in the back is similar to in Vogue tracks. You have that you know, and how the tone of who's singing too can play into that as well. If Waxy dipped that, oh my gosh, I would have died. Like, that would have been so good. But that was phenomenal what she did anyway. It was so good with the swipes of the legs. It was so nice. That is mad tricky to do. So she's going in not half time. She's going tempo with this arm. She's going a double time here, and she's not just doing a basic overhead with that. She's doing over, through, back, which is just mad impressive. Splashing water. She's like, do I have your attention? Now that's my only note too, is this is kind of the only way I've noticed them say, do I have your attention? And I know attention is like in the military, like atten hut, you know, so like I understand that. And then because both of them did it, but it was like one of them did it one time, one of them did it the other time. I understand how it can be cohesive. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Now notice here, they're doing something different, but they're matching the texture of each other. So there's a good chance whenever this is probably mostly choreographed, but then some of it was planned freestyle, where it's you know what, let's just hit this part of the music in this way, or there's a chance this wasn't rehearsed at all. They're like, okay, let's go up to here. And a lot of these are like not super rehearsed. Say, okay, I'll go to the ground and you go here. But because they've practiced together so much, which is, I've already cased very important points in regards to what happens when you do that. Le Twins, brilliant example of that too. That they are able to ride rhythms really similarly together because they have the same ear. And that's something to really factor in. Like, they have the same battle ear. You know what I mean? Because they practice together for so long, which also makes it interesting when they go against each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's, unless it's a separate event where they had time to prepare separately. So that's just an interesting note. So they were like, let's just walk forward, and then they just happen to hit certain things the same, which I really love.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And boom. Yeah, so even then, you know, you have Yoonji doing something that she has done before. She did it to Kirsten during the first episode when we watched her battle with her. But Waxy also, so like they hit a very similar way, but it wasn't the same. And so that's like a kind of a symptom of what I was mentioning, of kind of riding the beat similarly but different, which I really love. Okay, now with Bebe, we're gonna assume that their timer does not start yet. And also note too, like, a really good chance that they got to pick their songs, because the 2v2s or that kind of stuff is not necessarily a freestyle battle, right? With the crews especially, they get to pick their songs. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if they got to pick their songs here, and if so, I wonder if the DJ just started it too far back and they were just standing around waiting for it. And so I'm hopeful that it looks like the timer didn't start until they actually begin. So notice, like, it's a long time before they actually do anything. Yeah, they're still not doing anything here. Probably a solid 8 to 10 seconds. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da. Right, so it's a strong start. I will say to the viewers that probably, you know, I mean, this is uncut, so also I don't know how they cut it either. I don't know the commentary that happened with this, but I'm assuming that the DJ played the song back a little too far for them if they got to pick the song. If they didn't pick the song, no, I really feel like they were waiting for that right part of the music, honestly, is what it looked like. So we're just gonna choke it up to that, and I think they had the full 40 as well. And now, do I think that their movement, I mean, it's, oh, were they hitting 2 basses there? Let me hear. Gotta take a little listen. I mean, there's a bass, but they're hitting like a so it works. Like, that was nice. Do I think that I think it's totally fine to approach your opponent, frame your opponent, go after your opponent. That's totally fine. But because whenever the longer we see these battles, the more I feel like people in general, regardless if you're fluent in the battle culture or not, like for me, I'm still very much a student of it. I've started being an organizer for battles just so I can understand the back end as well as the front end, and being exposed to real firsthand information with battles. So I also am in a similar boat like a lot of people, where whenever you see people approach and then back away and then approach and then back away, but how they approach is more so walking or like one accent move and then they just walk away. It can feel a little bit left to be desired a little bit, meaning that, oh, we really wish that we could see a little bit more, like it's more purposeful walking and approaching versus we're coming to eat up time and then backtrack. It's really what you want to avoid. You know, so I like the choreo here. Do I feel that one of our dancers is going a little bit fuller than the other one? Yes. And something when you do a 2v2 that you have to really factor in that Waxxxy and Yoonji do very, very well, which is what helped them in the middle class dance rank mission from the get-go, is their overall cleanliness and when they dance together. They flow very well, they match their energy, they match how they execute the movement 100% of the way. And those things matter when you do the choreographic section of a 2v2 battle. If there's a freestyle, like a mandatory freestyle element that needs to be displayed with it. So that's just my note with that too. So like, do I like the choreo? I do. But it just stems from, you know, is it strong enough against what we saw and just the strength that comes from the fluency that Waxxxy and Yoonji bring to the table. Sometimes it's not enough. Now, would this have been enough against another crew? Yeah. Yeah, for some of them, way more competitive, but I feel like this is a pretty big gap here of they are trying their best to hold their own, which they are. They're fighting hard for it. This leg position here does remind me of Sarah, you know, and I feel like because we've already seen this type of expression of movement, right, with just the extension of the leg and the balance there, and it is assisted too, so take note of that. It's not, sometimes it can't be deemed as impressive as if it was the very first time we're seeing somebody do a leg hold. You know what I'm saying? And I know that the filmings of a lot of these battles is flip-flops, right? Here, I am going to assume, because it was saying, you know, it's the middle class worst dancer battle, the dance rank mission, and who they called out as the worst dancer of the dance rank mission has been released. And so I'm assuming this took place after that, you know, so and probably before the, what was it? The K-pop, yeah, probably before the K-pop challenge too. So with this line, we've already seen Sarah do it a couple of times. We saw in the crew battles, we've seen Sarah do it by herself, unassisted. So I think that could have worked against Bebe here because this wasn't as exciting as it could possibly be if the timing of when this was done was a little bit earlier in the show, all that to say. So that is a bit unfortunate, but I really like the fact that they're trying hard, you know. And I do think, I mean, I wish that their music was closer to where they wanted it to be. I like that they're each having moments to trying to hit it. Yeah, but also know too, like they're not utilizing this floor nearly as much as they did. Like they did, each one took turns dropping to the floor, which is really fun, and I liked that, right? But notice here that they're keeping, I mentioned this about my battle with Renna and Bucky, because I've already seen that at this point. They're kind of chilling on this midline with their torso here, not really engaging up at the top, nor super down on the ground, and that can factor in when you're against a group, whether it's a 2v2 where they utilize the high, the mid, the crouching, and the floor throughout their piece, which is what you really want. And so that's just those little things sometimes are fine, but other times are not fine. You know what I mean? So yeah. I like this little moment here doing the body roll there, which is really nice. And they come up. Yep. Jamming out. 6, 7, 8. Boom. Melt out. Yeah, and I like the uppercut at the end. I feel like you guys already know my vote would probably go to Waxxxy and Yoonji by a large margin, just from a lot of things that I mentioned about their analysis, as well as what I was touching on briefly with Kyma and Cheche. But all in all, guys, I love watching these battles. They're always such a joy. I love being able to see dancers grow, see different things from them, see where they are demonstrating their strengths and their weaknesses. It just makes me feel like I'm a part of something bigger than just myself, and that's why I really enjoy watching these. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way. If you're wanting to see more Street Woman Fighter content, I do have it all on my Patreon. That is ad-free, as well as if you do have recommendations for me. So remember, I am currently actively watching Street Woman Ultimate Fighter Season 1 while I'm watching Street Fighter Season 2. So sometimes videos kind of get bypassed for the sake of trying to make sure I stay on top of both seasons as they're happening. So a lot of you guys have been recommending me some battles, and I really do want to watch them, but because I do offer a tier on Patreon for people to recommend things, for a couple of reasons I want to really stick to that. Firstly, it's to be respectful to those who are investing in that way. I want to make sure that I do react to what they are requesting. Secondly, it is I feel that it is important to make sure that I cover all aspects of the show as well as I can, but as healthily as I can. And by me doing that, it makes sure that I don't lose any recommendations, because the worst thing to happen for me is because I get a lot of recommendations a lot, which is very encouraging to me because that means that you guys want to see more and it makes me feel very loved in that way. But because I get a lot of them from very different videos every day, I can lose track very quickly. And so that's why it's just easier to kind of put it there, just so I don't lose track and I'm able to really steward those who are investing in that way a little bit. It's healthier for me, but also it allows them to have that opportunity to get what they want reacted to as well. So that's why, and so I apologize if I'm not able to get to it in as much of a timely manner as you guys may want. It is because I just want to make sure that I'm healthily doing these videos, because remember, I'm doing like 5-6 videos a day just to make sure that I stay on track here, you know, and I want to keep this nice and safe, and I want to make sure that how I'm approaching these videos is in a healthy mindset as well. So I hope that is an understanding, and I am always so encouraged and thankful by all the support you guys give me, and it means a lot, and I'm always very thankful for it. And I do not take that for granted. So I want you to know that. Thank you. And yeah, so I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.